Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to my now very ill-named Portland, Oregon book haul crawl. I thought okay, we'd quit Portland. We went to Whidby Island to just kind of cool off for a day before we came back to Canada. And I thought, okay, I'm basically done with books. And then I fell victim to the most nefarious thing of all, and ended up at Freeland on Whidby Island at the seniors thrift store, where I came across what was actually, for my mind, as someone who's nearing 50, was an actual secondhand bookstore. This is a bookstore that had books like I love Portland, loved all the books there, but like all the books were like secondhand books. Everything's like trade paperback now, like none of the little pocket paperbacks, and everything was like $8 or $6, or you know I remember the days of you'd go into the bookstore when I was a kid, and everything was like a buck or a buck 50 or $3. And yeah, that's what I came with here. And I think I you might is I'll go through this pretty rapidly, this stack, but this is me actually kind of wresting a little bit of control of someone who said he wasn't going to buy a lot of physical books, but I just completely lost that. But I didn't buy as many as I thought I would. So let's quickly get into it. I knew I was going to be in trouble when I first came up the stairs and just sitting on a piece of furniture that was probably for sale for a very reasonable amount was this. Anais Nin, The Diary of Anais Nin. This is volume 1, 1931 to 1934, which features in a past video as my what I remember as my first adult book. And I was like, oh, I'll hold out for a re-edited copy. And then it's like, I came across this, 75 cents, and went, okay, fine. And I grabbed it. And from there on, I was seriously in trouble. So yes, I'm going to be rereading this at some point. With you'll see the mound of books I have now. I'll have to see when that is. Next book, just on the stack in no particular order, is Richard Russo's Empire Falls, and this one of these fellows I've heard a lot about, so I thought I'd give his book a try. I'm not going to read the thing, but just yes, here's Empire Falls. Next one is Jesus' Son, Jesus' Son by Denis Johnson, which I think it's short stories. He's one of these New Yorker guys, but I think he's this is a very revered collection, and it's like, okay, another 75 cents, so I'll give it a try. Next thing, I was talking about, I'd gotten Arthur Gordon Pym's narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket's narrative. Oh, I can't even remember what the name was. And I was saying, Poe, I don't kind of get along with short stories and stuff like that. But I decided, hey, here's the Vikings kind of collection of comprehensive one-volume edition of all his best and known tales and poems, and also some of his criticisms and essays. And it's all in this nice little handy little book, and the font isn't too evil, so I thought, yeah, that would be something. And it's got that raven on the cover. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. And that's about most of the poetry I know. So next up was Patrick O'Brian. I've read the very first one of his first Master and Commander in this series. I love the movie, and I heard people talk about the books and how they were so enjoyable. And indeed, the very first one was. Fortunately, number 2 wasn't there, but number 3 and 4 were. So this will be a kind of a fun read. I've always got this weak spot for nautical fiction, even though I could not tell you the difference between I cannot tell you the difference between a flying jib and a mizzen topsail, but hopefully having helpful hints like this, maybe I'll get some of it into my brain and become a at least better reader of nautical fiction, if not anyone who you want to actually entrust with a ship or boat or whatever. Next thing is Lawrence in Arabia, because the Seven Pillars of Wisdom by T.E. Shaw, who is Lawrence in Arabia, is one of my favorite books. And I thought, I'd like to read a little bit more about him in a more kind of modern, jaundiced eye kind of a thing of something that's got sort of the idea of like the colonial politics and post-colonial, all that sort of stuff into the mix. So yeah, I thought, what the heck, I would pick this up, and it looked like it had some good reviews on Goodreads, so I'll give that a shot. Next, and the final two books that I've got in this haul, and I was able to pull myself away, are definitely, I know people say there's no such thing as guilty reads. They obviously have not read Piers Anthony. I know some people love him and love him in an ironic way. I love him in a ironic, flawed, this guy is either responsible or is representational of a lot of really screwed up ways I have of relating to women or my sexuality. I have a feeling, I hope this may come under the TMI thing. So these are a couple of his books from the Xanth series. They're as cheesy as the covers show. I have to say, I've reread some of his the Xanth series already, and they are fun books. They're just fun books that are wrapped in sexist, problematic, dirty, kind of naughty humor stuff, which I still have I have to admit, I still have a weakness for naughty humor, even though this is probably totally reprehensible now. I guess I'll probably let you know, because now that I've started this channel and basically my purview is to basically review what I read, I'll probably be letting you know what I thought about these. My outrage as a woke man of the of 2018, so-called woke man of 2018, and I'm putting that in quotation marks, as some hapless guy who's got some idea that, you know, women are not alien creatures now, and I'm, you know, an actual mature adult. So yes, that's book haul number 3 from not Portland, Oregon, but a part of my lovely trip down to the United States, where it's one of these places where there's so many lovely people down there. You wonder how it could be so crazy down there at the same time. But that's the thing. It's many individuals all going together, and it's strange how you get, you know, you'll get one disembodied brain and a bazillion stomachs and all the different conflicts and what the crazy things that can come out of it. But United States, a lovely place to visit. I don't know if I'd want to live there, because I'm quite happy living in Canada. But yeah, I certainly enjoyed myself in Portland and Whidby Island, and will hopefully get a chance to do that again at some point. But that's my little. This is my boring vacation slideshow. Because I better do it, because book hauls are not going to be happening again. My library book haul turned out to be a horrible disaster, and I, of course, left a couple of the books that I should have been working at home, and they came due while I was gone, so I've taken them back to the library in the meantime, and we'll see if I get back to them. Luckily, one I was able to download as a thing, but the other one, Martin Luther, Renegade, and Prophet, wasn't as easy to separate from the CDs as I thought it was going to be, so I just had to go back as is, and we'll see if I ever get back around to it. Hopefully I will, but as you see, I've definitely accumulated a lot more. So many books, so little time. So many books, so little time. There's the constant refrain, and it's a wonderful, wonderful problem to have. All right, more videos later. Bye for now.